It is 20 to 9. If you are trying to get in touch by phone for the What Tamir Doing thing, please be patient. There's only one Helen, and she's doing her best to field your calls. But bless you for getting in touch. Persevere, and she will get to you. I promise you that. But there's some more answers coming in. We'll revisit them very soon indeed. Now, did you know it's Stress Awareness Month? And it has been every April since 1992. It's to increase public awareness about both the causes and cures for our modern stress epidemic. Dr. Rana Al-Falaki is founder of MedDent Leadership. She's an award-winning periodontist, international speaker, best-selling author and certified high-performance coach. This Stress Awareness Month, she's turning her attention to a profession very close to her heart, which is dentistry. Dr. Rana recently partnered with the Chief Dental Officer of England to launch Breathe Dental Wellness, a new platform designed to support the mental health and well-being of dental professionals who are facing growing pressures and alarmingly high rates of stress and burnout. Dr. Rana, good evening to you and thanks for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very, very welcome. Can you tell us more about your Nail It leadership approach and how optimal performance differs from the traditional idea of high performance, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I think probably answer the second question first, actually.
Sure.
High performance, which is a term that's bandied about an awful lot and people would have heard of and think that's the way to aspire to. In actual fact, the research and the studies show that high performance will lead to burnout. You become tunnel visioned, you get obsessed with just one thing. Often relationships will break down and your health will suffer. So optimal performance is really high performance in terms of high achievement, but without the burnout. It's about managing to achieve high levels of success in all aspects of your life, coupled with high productivity, balance, and happiness. So it's really very much a whole approach. And Nail It Leadership is a very current thinking form of leadership that I've developed that allows you to achieve optimal performance.
Okay, so from what you've just described there, it seems like it's about getting a very crucial balance around what you're doing. Would that kind of tally with what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. But I really dislike this term that we hear bandied around so often about work-life balance, because really I like to call it living. Because our life is not just about work, and it's not just about our life.
Yeah.
We have, there are so many parts to it, aren't there? There's work, there's social life, there's growth, there's personal development, there's personal interaction, social interaction, our own development, and within ourselves as we evolve as beings. So it really is about how do you want to live your life. So yes, live your life in an optimal way, which is yes, in balance, but it's also about being incredibly healthy. It's about being vibrant. It's about being productive and about being joyous inside.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Now, as you know, dentistry is one of the most high-pressure professions with some of the highest rates of mental health and suicide, sadly. Why do you think this issue remains and remains unspoken largely?
It's a sad thing, isn't it? Whenever I tell a layperson, so someone who isn't in the dental industry, that those kind of statistics, they look at me in shock because they can't possibly believe it. And the first phrase they say is, but I go to see my dentist and everyone always looks happy. My explanation is, we wear masks all day when we treat patients, but when we take them off, we also have to still be smiling. And inside you can be living in complete turmoil, which is certainly what I did on many an occasion. It's one of those, the show must go on. Dentists have businesses to run. They literally will only earn money if they are at work seeing patients. It doesn't matter about all the other obligations that they have to do. So there's permanent pressure to support themselves, to support their families. They're dealing in high-stress situations. The mouth, a human being, a person who may be anxious and nervous, they're having to deal with teams, and they have a regulatory body on top of them that constantly threatens to take their career away should there be a patient complaint. And yet we are dealing with human beings, and sometimes things do go wrong, and it's never our intention for that to happen. So they are working under tremendous stress and at the same time feeling very, very alone because they have to put that smile on their face.
You've just given an insight to something that I hadn't realised before, to be honest, Dr. Rana, and it's quite enlightening in many ways to understand what your average dentist has to go through. You've recently launched this Breathe Dental Wellness platform in partnership with the Chief Dental Officer of England. What inspired this project then, and what kind of support, crucially, is offered?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think the inspiration was probably from my own journey as well, of having pushed myself so hard, been very successful, but definitely burnt out and became sick myself. So everything I do with that, and the way I formulated MedDent and Nail It, has all been about bringing my own personal experience, my business expertise, and everything I have learned and been through in the process. So the Chief Dental Officer, we wanted to really support the dental community. And when I say the dental community, it's not just the dentists, it's all the amazing people that work in that health industry as well. And traditionally, there have just been signposts to potentially NHS services that will support their mental health and well-being. But of course, as I pointed out, there's a regulatory body, in which case there's a lot of stigma and concern that if you admit to not being so well, or to struggling, or to even having an addiction problem, the fear is, what if this goes the wrong way and I end up losing my livelihood at the same time? So there have been a lot of barriers. So what we wanted to create through Breathe Dental Wellness was a platform that was bespoke to the dental industry, that tailored to all of their very, very specific issues and lifestyle. For example, we can't tell you to go for a 1-hour walk because you don't have an hour. You are usually sitting there writing up notes in your lunch break or running late. So it was about tailoring every single aspect of health, encompassing stress regulation, re-energizing, coaching, mentoring, personal development, financial health, addiction, therapy, healthy body, the lot, through video format, to give them real information and insights specific to them, as well as signposting them, which is something we could do. We could create the same platform for any profession. Yeah. But it's so much more powerful when it speaks to you, if that's your profession.
No, of course. Why is it so important? A bit of an obvious question, this, but I'm curious to know your take on it. Why is it so important that we address stress head on?
Well, I have a bit of a bugbear here, because we hear this term stress management so often, and I am on a mission. I am on a true mission to change the culture and to change the narrative. Let's stop talking about resilience. Let's stop talking about stress management. In actual fact, resilience is only one of the 38 elements in Nail It that all tackle stress and create optimal performance. Let's start talking about how can we shift you, the individual, so that you don't even feel the stress in the first place. That's about shifting your attitude. It's about shifting your belief systems. It's about making you more productive, making you more emotionally intelligent, allowing you to communicate effectively. That's what really, really needs to happen. In other words, let's stop putting a blanket on the flames, and the minute you remove them, they come back again. And let's start really making people self-aware and empowering every single individual.
Okay. Just finally, for anyone listening, regardless of their profession, is there one simple step, one piece of advice you'd want to leave this chat with, that they can take today to feel more in control of their lives?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it is exactly that. It is about being in control. So, I mean, the first thing I would say is, look, this is a global problem, and there is no need to do it alone. That there's no weakness in admitting you may be struggling or need some kind of help or support. But what I would say is, imagine you were in a gush of really heavy, wild water, which is what happens when you feel anxious or stressed or not performing quite as well. You can't control everything, but there is bound to be something you can hold on to, be that a branch, be that a rock. You'll be able to hold on to something. So try to find the one thing that you can control in a situation that feels out of control. And that may be your mindset, your attitude, the relationships that you have, your communication skills. So I'd really invite you to go to my main website, which is drranaalfalaki.com, and start there, sign up. We will send you newsletters, we'll send you tips and advice, and you can take the actual Rate Your Burnout quiz. So let's just see how high risk you might be.
Great insights, great advice. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, Dr. Rana.
It's a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Dr. Rana Al-Falaki there, an award-winning periodontist and certified high-performance coach. Some amazing advice there that we can all take, to be honest, and have better lives.
Andy Collins at breakfast.
The 7-year-old girl from Hertfordshire has beat the Guinness World Record for the amount